Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. If this is Thursday, it's Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you're having a great Thanksgiving with your family, friends, whoever. If you listen to this while traveling, please travel safely. There's going to be a plate of food. Nobody's going to eat all the turkey. So take it slow, get there, be safe in your travels to and from. But hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving with family, friends, like I said, whoever. I'm excited. I'm recording this the night before, so I will be hanging out with my family, and it should be a great day. I love Thanksgiving, getting together, eating, hanging out, seeing family I haven't seen in a while, so always a fun time. But anyway, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Before we get into today's episode, just want you to know this episode brought to you by Titeist and the Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls. Pro V1 and Pro V1X are the number one golf balls in golf, and the ones I'm actually talking about and starting to play this year are the Pro V1 and Pro V1X with RCT technology. So the RCTs are radar capture technology. So inside the ball, they've actually got some reflective material that works with radar-based launch monitors. So if you've got a radar-based launch monitor, these balls actually improve the reading of spin and distance and all. It just helps all the readings in those radar-based systems. I've talked to the companies that make radar-based launch monitors, and they will tell you that RCT-style balls vastly improve. They actually read spin. They don't just guess it, and they enhance a lot of other metrics in there. So if you're like me in the north and you're stuck playing indoors and doing some indoor golf and using the simulators and all that, the Pro V1, Pro V1X RCT balls are kind of a great way to kind of improve your work, improve your simulator stuff, improve everything. Go check them out. But the other great things that they play exactly like a Pro V1 and Pro V1X. So there's no difference in terms of performance to the ball you play on the course. So when you're playing in your simulator or hitting balls in your launch monitor, working on your game, you're going to get the exact same results you would out on the course, which is pretty darn cool. So if you go to Titleist.com, go into the golf balls, check out the Titleist Pro V1, Pro V1X, and also the RCT versions if you're playing indoors this winter. It's a great way to improve your practice and improve your fun when you're hitting indoors. So today we gonna have slightly shorter episode here just because it is Thanksgiving. I know you don't want to sit there and listen to me for however long. Heck, you probably aren't going to be able to listen to me on Thursday because you're going to be heading to and from family parties, whatever you're doing. And I totally get that. So if it's Friday, you're probably shopping. It's Black Friday, all that. So whatever you're doing, it's a busy time of the year, busy time of the month. I totally understand if we're not, totally all ears in on golf, but I am. There's tons of new stuff coming out. I know we've seen tons of stuff out on tour. We've seen the brand new Ping 10K or Ping G430 10K driver. We've seen the pictures of the Cobra dark speed stuff that's out. We've seen the TaylorMade QI series that's out as well. So all those things it looks like we've seen out on tour. So new ping wedges. I mean, there's a ton of brand new stuff coming, which is pretty awesome. I'm excited to see this stuff, excited to hit it. I know a few people on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod, have asked me, what am I most excited for this year? And to be honest, I'm excited for all of it. I want to see, I'm excited for everything. I mean, Cobra every year puts out a great driver that's kind of underrated every single year, even though it shouldn't be anymore. We should all know really good drivers, but they still go kind of under the radar. The Cobra or the TaylorMade driver is super excited. I've always hit TaylorMade driver as well. The Stealth 2, Stealth, I've hit both those well. So seeing what this QI series is going to be, really excited to see what the differences are, what advancements they've made in the tech that goes into it. Looks like it may still have a carbon face from what we're seeing. Looks like it's switched over to blue though instead of red, which will be very interesting. I think a lot of people will kind of gravitate towards that because the red to them was distracting. I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me. And then we've seen Cobra Ping that, and then new Ping wedges, the S159s. I'll be honest, I have never been much of a Ping wedge guy. I don't typically love the look of their wedges, but the S159s look really good. They supposedly have some added sole grind options. They look really traditional, so that's going to be an interesting wedge. I can't wait to hit that. And yeah, I mean, I think, I'm trying to think, I think that's about it at the moment from what we've seen. But yeah, just a ton of stuff on tour that we're seeing now that we will shortly see, hear from these manufacturers about all this stuff. So I'm super excited for this stuff. I'm fortunate enough where I will get to hit some of the stuff before. I know in the next beginning of December, I got a couple trips coming up. There's a few things. Oh, the other one, PXG drivers. We saw PXG drivers out there as well. They saw like two 0311, a 2 or 1, a 2 or 3 kind of prototypes. And then a 0311, like one with the serial number B, one with the serial number C, that were slightly different as well. So tons of stuff going out. And like I said, I'm going to be traveling again beginning of December. I got 2 weeks in a row. Like the first week, like 5th through 8th, I'll be gone, checking out brand new product. And then the week after that, I'm literally going to get home Friday, take off Monday, and I will be checking out more new gear. So it's going to be a busy time. And then I'm working on going to a third place. So we'll see if we're able to pull that off. But it's going to be a wild and fast December for me. But super excited. I'm really excited to see what comes about. I mean, I feel like this year, when we looked at drivers, that spin window between miss hits and center hits, that window of spin and launch was so, just got tighter. Like you didn't see crazy numbers when you hit low heel or high toe or anything like that. Those numbers were always really consistent, compared to center strikes. I want to see, one, if that improves even more, because, I mean, anytime you're improving miss hits, and then 2, looking at, added stability. I mean, the Ping G430 10K, we're going to assume that number means, MOI is measured out to 10K, and that's basically vertical and horizontal, those two numbers, because I think the limit is like 5,900 for horizontal MOI or something like that. So adding the numbers together is 10K, so super high there. But we'll see added stability with a bunch of drivers. So I'm excited to see this stuff and get my hands on it and get to hit it. And we'll start talking about new clubs and hitting new clubs. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and excited to get the year started and and see what's new. So I've already had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to hit some new stuff. I can't talk about it yet, but I've hit some new stuff, and just fun. Just a whole lot of fun. And hearing the stories, listening to the stories, all that stuff is really awesome. So really exciting time when it comes to new products, and this time of year I'm always excited. And then we'll start getting into talking about PGA show, so going to that at the end of January, so that'll be another crazy kind of time. So it's a whole lot going on in the golf world. It's funny because like the dead of summer is kind of the dead time, or not dead, but kind of the slower time. And this is the time when everything's ramped up, going strong, going crazy. So it's the golf world. This is kind of our time, getting ready for the beginning of the year and all these launches and all that. So it'll be pretty fun. But yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about some of I did an Instagram post, again, if you follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod, an Instagram post about kind of like what mallet putter would you choose. I kind of put up 4 fairly new mallet putters, and it was interesting. Got a ton of responses. Was really kind of surprised by how many people jumped in there and were talking about that, and which putter they liked. But posted a few different mallet putters, 4 different ones. Posted a few photos of them. So I figured I want to talk about the 4 that I've been big fans of, and they're kind of a big time. They're in the rotation of putters that I use every week when I go play golf. They are 4 that are in the mix all the time in some way or fashion, and one of them is kind of getting close to more gamer status, and it's pretty interesting. And then today I did a post, Tuesday I did the post about the putters. Wednesday, as I'm recording, I did a post about some wedges, some lob wedges, to see what people were into, and same thing. Everybody likes talking about what they would game and why and all that. So today we're going to talk about some mallet putters and what I like about mallets. Some of these ones here, these 4 particular, what I like about them, what maybe I kind of wish was slightly different. But we'll talk about some mallet putters and get into that. And yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, just search Golf DBRX Radio. I think if you put in Club Junkie, podcast, it would come up as well. But search for there, and you can see me put the clubs in front of the camera, because that's pretty much what I do. But and wherever you're listening, wherever you're following, whatever, if you could subscribe, like, all that crap. I know it's mundane, you hear it everywhere you listen, but it really does kind of help with all that algorithm and all that, and kind of making the stuff a little bit bigger and getting my name out there. And you know what? My name's out there a little bit. I might be able to try more stuff. People may be willing to send me a couple more clubs to review. So, but today we're going to talk about some mallets. So we'll start off, like I said, I did this post, and we threw up some mallets. And the first one that I'll talk about, and this I'll kind of do it in like order from, closest to game, furthest to game, from gamer to closest to gamer. I'll kind of do it that way, but it really has no bearing. I mean, I like all these putters a whole lot. And the one thing I like is that every single putter, magnetic, magnetic head cover, which is awesome. I hate Velcro head covers. Give me magnetic every day of the week. So the first one we're going to talk about is the PXG Battle Ready Bat Attack 2. Or Battle Ready 2 Bat Attack. So this is basically a Fang style putter from PXG. This is the second generation. The first generation, the original Battle Readies, went away, and then this year they brought out the Bat Attack Battle Ready 2s. And the looks are very similar. It's actually from a dress, you look at it, and it's the fangs are kind of black, and the top line silver, and the whole body silver, black hosel. A little bit reverse of the previous gen. The previous gen was kind of a all black, matte black finish with really dark gray kind of fangs on it that were made of tungsten. This is a very similar design. Heavy weights. You got interchangeable weights on the back. Down near the on those fangs, you get the interchangeable weights. So very, very similar design. When you set it down, it's very, very similar. There's just a slight bit of kind of massaging of the shape that they've done, especially in the top line. I think it like kind of fades back out near the edges just a little bit more. But they kind of did that, and then they have a new face on it that's kind of a diamond mill pattern there. But the big story on these things, the big difference, is not visible, which is these are actually somewhat hollow. So inside this putter, they basically remove material so it's hollow and fill it with their polymer material that you see out of some of their irons. So it's actually filled, and what that does is two things. One, improves sound and feel, because it kind of dampens vibration, kind of deadens the sound a little bit, mutes it, and then also to be able to take that weight and move it around elsewhere on the head. So like out here, they would put it, out further, increase the MOI, and make it a much more stable putter. So this version here also, you can get a couple different necks on it. This is the plumber's neck or crank hosel, L neck, whatever you want to call it. But the traditional one there, which is basically a full shaft offset on the putter. And the thing I like about this is I've been an Odyssey number 7 guy for forever. Always been a big fan of those putters. Always liked the shape. They frame the ball well. And this is, kind of PXG's version of that. And it's extremely stable. When you kind of putt with it, the first time you grab it, you kind of get it. And just, those strokes, there's some putters that you just feel really good with. And they have, people always call it like the weight or the balance of the putter. And I think it really is just kind of it's a combination of the toe hang on the putter, which with this L neck does give it just a little bit of toe hang. You can get a double bend shaft and stuff in here that will actually make it face balance, but the plumber's neck will give it a little bit of toe hang. But I think it's a combination of the toe hang and kind of the stability of the putter. The weighting on the outside of the putter that really kind of give it that feel. And when you set this thing down and you make a few strokes with it, you can definitely feel that kind of stability to it, and that the way it kind of just moves through the stroke, and it matches up well with my stroke. The other nice thing about it is they also have an optional, their own kind of graphite and steel shaft called the M16. It looks very similar to Odyssey's Stroke Lab, where it's half graphite, and a quarter steel, or 3/4 graphite and a quarter steel. Same thing with UST's all in. Kind of has a similar look to that, but I like that it's an option there. It's definitely stiffer than traditional steel, offers that slightly more stout feel and also a little bit softer feel as well, because that graphite upper section definitely reduces some of the vibration that you feel at impact. So it gives that just a little softer feel. The face feeling on this one is really good. This diamond pattern, it's kind of like having a fairly deep mill, so pretty soft. You get, there's not much click to it. It's almost a knock when it goes, almost like you're kind of hitting a wood bat. Just has that little knock to it when the ball kind of meets the face. No metallic, no tinging metallic type sound at all, but a really good putter. Puts a decent roll on the ball. The ball gets rolling pretty quick with this face. And just overall, it's really good on miss hits. You can hit it off the toe, hit it off the heel a little bit, and you have that forgiveness, that stability that really stand out and keep the ball in line. But it's just a really solid putter that I think the improvements over the original, while visually they look identical, for the most part. I mean, it's reverse color scheme, whatever. They don't look much different. I feel like these do have just a little better sound and feel, and they do have just maybe a little added stability over the original Battle Ready. So I've been a big fan of this putter. Out of these four, it probably makes the rotation the least. but it is a putter I really like. I do putt well with it. I remember when I got kind of fit for the first one when I went out to Scottsdale National 2 years ago. With the original version, it was one of those, hitting a couple different putters, and as soon as this went in the hands, you just kind of knew, and you kind of like, had it, and it was like, it kind of had that good feel to it. And I was kind of surprised. I thought I'd be more face balance with this putter, but the plumber's neck was just, a little bit of toe hang and a mallet. Has been kind of my jam lately, and this kind of fit that bill. So it also comes, they have their own grips as well, PXG does, and this is like the straight one, which is kind of like a Super Stroke 2.0 size type grip. It's got some decent traction to it. You can kind of really feel the seam run down the back of it, but some good deep traction to it, and it's overall kind of a nice putter grip. So it's something that I haven't changed really anything of. I don't think I actually really will. I think just the way it is pretty nice. And, like I said, it doesn't make the rotation as much as, say, the other three coming. But I do still putt with it a good amount, and I like it. It's a good putter. It's really solid, and, it's not the cheapest mallet option out there. I know PXG does have some cheaper models, but the Bat Attack is definitely one of their best, I think, in terms of looks, everything. I mean, you get the milling lines, all the stuff on it. It's a pretty high quality looking piece for what you pay for. But the Bat Attack too, and then also I think the cover's kind of cool. I like the darkness kind of theme. I know there's a kind of a reasoning behind the skulls in the 26, and it's military based. And I apologize if it's offensive that I don't know, but I don't remember what exactly that is. But I think it's kind of cool. I know that skull and crossbones and skull stuff for some people is just kind of played out. Not for me. I still like it. I still think it's pretty cool, but a nice cover on it as well. So the Bat Attack from the Battle Ready 2 series from PXG, really, really good. If you want to see more, they make a ton of head styles as well. If you just go to pxg.com and check them out, they've got a bunch of putters, and you can see, all the different styles and all that. I've used like kind of their Brandon and the Apache they made as well. The Apache's really good. I built that into a counterbalance putter, and my brother kind of took it from me because he loved it. As soon as he got it, set it down, kind of made a few putts, he was like, dude, I love this, and it kind of made it into his bag. So the Apache is really good too, but they make a handful of mallets and blades that you can kind of mix and match, a couple different hosel options for all of them, which is pretty cool. So the next one I'll put into kind of the list here, and it's really hard to kind of these three because two of them are brand new, so they haven't, been in the bag very, very long, and one of them has been in for like a year, but I'll throw in this one here because this is kind of an old crutch fallback, old faithful, and that is going to be the L.A.B Golf Mezz.1 Max. So the Mezz.1 Max, if you're not familiar with L.A.B Golf, it's lie angle balancing. And what that is that a lot of putters, when you set them, just kind of hold them in your hand or set them on a table, typically the toe will point down or the toe will be, pointing straight up in the air as a face balance putter, a little bit of toe hang, whatever. L.A.B Golf, that's not the case. When you set these things down, the face will always be pointed at your target. So that is lie angle balancing, and that's why it definitely looks a little different than some other putters out there, but it's also a very, very cool piece, and they've done a bunch of work with these things. And I tell you what, it's amazing when I put that post up, how many people, when I said, what putter would you game, how many people were saying, the L.A.B, the Mezz, and how many people owned different versions, whether it was a Mezz.1, they make a kind of a mallet or a blade version called the Link, but a lot of people commented that they're already rolling L.A.Bs or wanted to try them, so it's pretty amazing. You're seeing a big kind of jump on tour as well. Adam Scott uses one, and a handful of other players, whether they're long versions, arm locks, standard versions, but yeah. So I had the original Mezz.1, which is a smaller head. This thing, I think it's 20% larger in the Mezz Max, maybe 30. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a larger head. But I had the original one and really liked it. It was a good putter. I putted well with it. And then when the Mezz.1 Max came out, they offered me to have one. I said I would love one. Custom ordered it in this cool kind of, I think they call it coffee color, but it's kind of like a bronzish brown color. And I really like the color. I think it turned out great. But the Mezz.1 Max, I really like actually the larger size. I think the larger size frames the ball a little bit better. And then they say, it added a whole lot of stability to the putter head. And I can say Hitting the two side by side, the Mezz.1 Max to me is definitely a much more stable putter. If you miss it, and we're all going to miss it off the heel and the toe. We try to get it in the dead center, but we're going to miss some off the heel, miss some off the toe. And I feel like this thing stays on line better than the original Mezz. Like some people, they say the Max is just too big. When I look at it now, it just doesn't look that big. Maybe it's just because I've had it for a year, and it's just kind of there to my eye. It just doesn't look that big anymore. But it definitely is bigger than the standard Mezz. But no, the stability there I think is definitely improved. Again, it's one of those things when you set it down compared to the Mezz 1, the Max, when you set it down and it's just, kind of through that stroke, that face just wants to, I feel, stay on line better than the original Mezz. It just wants to stay pointed towards that target, pointed towards the hole, and that's what it does. And I felt like this putter is kind of my crutch. When things start going bad, this is the putter I put in the bag to kind of straighten things out. And basically what I try to do is grip it as lightly as possible, and just as cliche and stupid as it sounds, let the putter do the work. So you just kind of grip it really lightly, let it take it back, and just let the putter come through. And it is, on short putts, extremely, extremely accurate, extremely easy to use. On some longer lag putts, it does take, I feel like just a little bit of practice time. If you get out to the practice green and practice a few of those 25, 30-foot putts, those lag putts, once you hit a few of those and kind of get the feel for it dialed in, it works really well, but it does take a little bit of work on those putts to me. And then also there's tons of custom options. If you want different sight lines, like I did kind of just a triple sight line on the top, but they do a bunch of different sight lines, sight dots, all that. And then, you can custom order it in different colors. Now people will say, hey, I don't like the way the shaft is, goes in behind the face and all that. I understand. I mean, even L.A.B kind of jokingly says, hey, it's not the prettiest putter in the world, but it works. And I think there's something to that. I know a lot of people in the industry who use this putter or the Link, but a lot of people use L.A.B products. And I think a lot of us who have access to tons of different putters, almost any different putter, this thing is different, and it does work, and it works very well. And the technology they have in terms of keeping that putter face always aimed at the target, there's something to that. So this is the one that goes in the bag when things are going a little rough. It's got an Acra graphite shaft that's made for L.A.B in there, and then its own, they call it the Press No. 2 1.5 grip. So, which is kind of a unique grip. It doesn't have any texture to it. It's like this two-color black and white, but it doesn't have any texture to it. But it's actually got a little bit of tack to it. And the way it's designed is the shaft actually goes through the grip at an angle, and that way, the way the shaft goes into the head, you hold it normally, and it puts that kind of like forward press into the club, and then helps you kind of hold it the correct way. So it works really well. I know some people have put on like standard like Super Stroke grips or stuff like that. It is possible to do, but it is kind of designed for the Press. The Press No. 2 grip. But overall, it's just one of those putters that if you're struggling, it's definitely worth looking at. These things, they're not cheap, but most people who get them, they frequently are not too disappointed. They have a kind of a cool custom online fitting thing as well that I did with my gamer, and this thing fit pretty much perfect right from that. So just a cool putter. And again, when things are not going great, you can kind of put this in the bag, and I feel like it kind of takes my hands and wrists kind of out of it and makes me just kind of move the upper body to move the putter around, and it works really well. It's all aluminum head. It's got some horizontal lines in terms of the milling. They put a good roll in the ball, give it a good soft feel. And aluminum, if you've never putted with aluminum, a little softer than steel, a little different feel, but still a good feel out of this thing. So the L.A.B Golf, if you go to labgolf.com, you can check out kind of the Mezz, the Link. They've got a couple different putters, and then they also have like the DF2 or something like that, DF 2.1, which was the original kind of look. But kind of a really good. It's a really good putter. It just it's a little bit different. It's a little pricey, but it's a good stick, especially if you're somebody who's kind of been struggling with putting. It's a good thing to like kind of fix your woes to get you back on track. The next one that we'll get into, which is so weird, just kind of going through putters, but probably the L.A.B a lot. That makes the bag a decent amount. I think I brought that. I want to say that came with me to the my guys' kind of golf weekend as well. In case things went really bad, I was throwing that thing in the bag. And the next two are brand new putters. They're brand new putters that are out. that just came out just recently, but I've been, messing with them a lot. I played with them a little bit, but messing with them on the, little putting mat and stuff like that. The first one, or the number 3, we'll get into, or number 2, the Odyssey, the new AI Milled, and this is the 8TS. So it's a whole lot to talk about, a mouthful to talk about. But again, traditionally kind of a blade with some toe hang, a mallet with some toe hang. So you're looking at, mallet shape, toe hang design, and the shape itself was kind of the Toulon Daytona. So it's kind of this a little bit rounded mallet, long single sight line on the top that goes front to back. And it's got these kind of notched out center sections where they have weight kind of back and forward. On the sole, you've got a big sole plate that I would willing to bet if you pop that off is hiding a lot of like hollow area where they move weight around, and then 2 movable weights up near the face. So that, and then the big story, titanium milled insert that actually, if you pull it off, the back of it is kind of wavy and textured. And what they did with that is they basically ran a bunch of faces through a supercomputer, and designed one that was going to extend the sweet spot, move it out further, continue ball speed. And they did a really cool chart with, traditional milled putter. If you hit it dead center, the ball speed's like 8.2, 8.1. And then this mallet, it's 8.1, and then you move it out and it's 8.0 and 7.9 and 7.8. And the further you get, the drop is very, very small in terms of ball speed, as opposed to the, solid, milled putter or whatever that was, you saw a very quick drop off outside of that dead center spot. So very cool. They kind of have this titanium face in there. It kind of floats. Some of the other putters have little windows in there where you can kind of see some of that face technology. This one does not. And it's funny because when I went to the launch event for this putter, they had all the putters. I thought for sure I'd just be a number 7 guy. And then hitting all these putters, this was the one that I really putted with the best. So it's got a little slant neck. It's like 3/4 shaft offset. And it basically, has a little bit of toe hang, which means that putter kind of wants to rotate through the stroke and kind of square up at impact. But it really is, the big thing was that I was just starting everything online with this putter. When I was out there hitting everything on the putting green, working with one of the guys from Callaway, we were sitting there and this, we tried a bunch of different putters, and the 7 was good. The 7S was really good. That was really solid. And then I just put this in my hand just to do it. We just kind of handed it to me. And it was amazing that basically every putt I hit with this, I started it online. Now, did I have the speed right or whatever, the read, that's kind of up to me. But basically wherever I aimed, I was starting the ball online with this putter way better than anything else. So, and then when you get to the face, I think there is something about it. Now this is the titanium one. They make a non-milled one that's kind of an aluminum back with kind of a white hot type insert on it. And I think there is something to, ball speed. There was a good amount of consistency no matter where you hit it on the face, that ball rolled out to whatever distance you were trying to hit or did hit. And regardless of where you hit on the face, it went that fast and it kind of went that far. And while the milled one, I don't think you see as much performance as the white hot version, this one still does have really good performance, and it's kind of got this nice shallow mill to it. It's a good solid feel. It's a little firmer, of course, than the urethane faced one, the standard AI-One, but the AI-One Milled, a little crisper, really solid. You get a little bit more feedback, a little bit more click off this putter, but in a good way. It actually sounds and feels really, really solid. I was really impressed with how these solid. The navy blue paint is really good, and then this AI-One with the 8T. It does have some stability to it. When you do miss it, not only do you get that ball speed, but it's got a lot of weight pushed out, out and back, and the ball stays online really well. It's definitely forgiving in both ball speed and starting line, or ball directionally. So you get kind of both of those out of this, and there's a handful of different models and things like that. That kind of do something similar, but with this one, I've just found that long straight sight line uninterrupted. I lined up really well. So this one I played with. I played with it on some really fast greens down in Frisco, Texas, at the PGA place there, the Omni Frisco, and super fast greens, way faster than I thought they would be, and I actually putted really well with it. I didn't necessarily make anything, of substance, but I was getting the ball all around the hole, and putts that I was missing were missing by just a touch. So for that, playing different greens, a brand new putter I've never played, all that. It was a decent putting day, but a really solid putter. And I think there is something to the AI faces that Odyssey's doing here. And then this one here, you're going with just a brand new kind of, it's called a Stroke Lab SL90, which is kind of a lightweight steel. They've got a lightweight steel in here. I don't believe there's any actual slug in the backside. I don't believe. And then it's got basically, this one has this standard Odyssey grip. This may go away, and there may be a different shaft that goes in here, just because, I like those stiffer, more stout shafts. So this may get reshafted, but they built these things overnight. So, I mean, this is 33 inches, exactly how I play it, and just a really solid putter, but something I really liked, and I really like the milled face. The sound and feel has been really, really solid. So, a good putter. I'm excited to get this thing out a little bit more, play some more with it, and see how it makes rotation. But again, it was a putter head that I just didn't, shape-wise, I just didn't think I would have anything to do with. It wasn't the top of my list of stuff that caught my eye. But once I started hitting putts with it, it worked out really well. So the AI-One Milled 8TS. So I don't know what the T means, but the slant neck is the S on there. So again, a little bit of toe hang, and a solid putter that's kind of a putter that's in the rotation quite a bit for me. And then the one that kind of surprised me the most out of everything, and I was kind of shocked when this thing kind of came out. I was kind of excited because I knew a lot of people would want to hit this putter, but I just didn't think it would be anything. I just didn't think it would be anything crazy that I was really gonna love. But the Spider Tour X Proto, the kind of Scotty Scheffler boy here with the fully milled face, and to be honest, I was putting a lot with the Spider Tour X, the V. Which is the head shape that doesn't have any wings on it. It's a little more sleek, and I really like that. Kind of like this one, it's got a little more forward CG, and I was putting really well with it near the especially near the end of the year. And then this came in, and I was just kind of messing with it, and honestly, it's a really, really solid putter. So a lot of people kind of ask me too, like, what is the point of this putter? Yeah, it's got a milled face, but is that really worth the $500 price tag? And basically, the big difference is, if you look at the sole on this, especially near the back, you can tell it's hollowed out. There's a couple movable weights there, but basically, they were pushing the CG on this really, really far forward, and kind of in development with Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler was looking for a different putter. Wanted something that swung like a traditional blade that he uses. He uses, a kind of a Newport 2 style putter, but wanted something that swung like that and kind of felt like that through the swing, but then wanted some of the mallet stability and alignment that you get. So this is what came about, and it really does. When you swing it, it definitely feels better than those other putters there that I just talked about. This one feels different compared to those three. You can definitely feel that this has a little more rotation through the swing. It wants to kind of close itself a little more rapidly as you get into impact, and that forward CG, I think, is what does that. Again, with the movable weights there and everything pushed forward, you do lose a little bit of that stability. So on a miss hit there, the face does feel, especially on like a lag putt that you really miss off the toe, you're going to kind of feel that putter want to maybe swing open just a touch, or if you hit it off the heel, it may want to swing closed just a touch more than a standard Spider Tour, or any of these other mallets here that I've been messing with. It loses a little bit of that stability and forgiveness, but the full milled face feels and sounds great. Again, very similar to kind of a knock sound when it goes, kind of that wooden baseball bat kind of sound to it when it leaves the face. It's got a pretty shallow milling, so very responsive. You get that audible sound of the knock, and if you do miss it, you get that audible and vibration feel of that miss hit, which is pretty nice. It's definitely something that is different compared to other Spiders that have that TPU pure roll insert. And this thing here does have just maybe a hair more skid to it than a pure roll. If you're hitting them side by side, you can kind of notice, or if it's like a dewy morning, you can kind of see that this one maybe has an extra little longer hop to it, a little more skid compared to the true rolls. But the feel on this one is really, really good. And also the finish on this one, where some of those others like the V, you can see some of the kind of like casting marks that are a little rougher. This whole thing looks to be milled and, has milling marks kind of all over it. Really, really nice fit and finish to it. And then, as I said, I kind of like long single unbroken sight lines, and this one has a really long sight line that it does break near the back, but it's a really long straight sight line. And then it's got the white true path alignment that TaylorMade's been doing for a while in the spiders. So very high contrast, easy to see, and I think it's easy to line up. When you set it down, it looks just like a Spider X, Spider Tour X. There's really no difference to it. But the way it swings, it just has that blade feel. And the past 2 years, I've kind of gamed a lot of blades, or not a lot of blades, but I've gamed a Bettinardi BB8W. The past 2 years was my main gamer, and this has kind of that same feel. When you take it back and bring it through, it just has that quicker rotation to it that a lot of mallets don't have. But it still offers that little bit more forgiveness, and it offers better alignment to my eye in terms of the sight lines there. So I really like this thing a lot more than I thought I would. I just didn't think I'd get caught up on the hype of it's a Proto and whatever. It's a pretty darn good putter. And then it's got the KBS black shaft in it, kind of a gloss black KBS shaft, and a Super Stroke Pistol 1.0 with the kind of the spider on there is the stock setup. And I like the Pistol 1.0. It's kind of probably one of my favorite. I think the Pistol GT is probably my ultimate favorite, but the Pistol 1.0 is a putter grip that I really, really like. And then the KBS shaft definitely has a stiffer feel than a traditional steel shaft. Not quite as stiff as some of the graphite stuff, but it's definitely an upgrade over a traditional, lightweights kind of or flexible steel shaft that a lot of putters have. But the Spider X Tour's been kind of solid and just been that kind of unknown that just kind of fit in the bag really well. So the little bit of putter with it so far, I've really liked it. I think they did a great job with this thing. I kind of wish it was in the line permanently. I think it's already sold out. I don't know if we're going to get more of them or what from TaylorMade, but this thing is one of those that's a really solid putter, and something that I think a lot of people people ask well, who's it for? What's the point? I think this would be for someone who has traditionally used a blade putter, a Newport, Answer, whatever style, but they found they've run into some putting, issues. They need something that they want to align better. They want maybe just a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more stability, but they don't want to lose the feel of that blade putter. And I think this is kind of the best mix of both worlds. And it's got the short little plumber's neck on there, full shaft offset. The plumber's neck is kind of cool. It's got a little milled out little cavity in the back, so those little details and stuff are pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's who it's for. I think it's for that blade user who is looking for a little bit of forgiveness, a little bit better alignment, a little easier alignment, but they don't want to lose that blade feel. And I think you're going to get that from here. You're going to get the fully milled face, that feel, that sound, but you're going to get that alignment and that feel. So it's kind of a really cool putter. It maybe have a smaller audience than maybe a regular Spider Tour X or Spider Tour V or one of the other models, but I think this definitely has a place, and I think there's some people out there who when they get their hands on it will really kind of enjoy a putting with this thing. So yeah, that is the TaylorMade Spider X Tour, and kind of one of the ones that I've been kind of playing a little bit the most, which is pretty interesting because I've really, really liked it, surprisingly. So we'll see if it's a gamer going in next year. I know there's a few other putters I'm hoping to try before the get into next year. So we'll see if it's the gamer. Again, nothing in my bag is necessarily safe, so we'll see what happens next year with all the new clubs. I know people always ask what's the one club that's going to stay? Nothing. There's nothing in there right now that I think is 100% safe. So if anything, the 7-wood's probably the closest. That PXG 430 Max with the Fujikura Ventus TR8. I've hit that really, really well. I don't see that going anywhere, but we'll see. We'll go hit some more product, and we'll hit some other 7-woods, and we'll see if something knocks it out, because there's always a chance. But everything in there is pretty much free game, even putter wise. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on these, kind of my top 4 blades of the year so far, or going into next year, or currently. And who knows, it could change with any new putter coming out. We'll see what does. So that's all I've got today for this week. Like I said, hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving and enjoy it and have a great time. And we'll talk next week. Again, wherever you're listening, whatever podcast platform, if you could like, subscribe, whatever, it'd be awesome. Again, follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, that'd be great. You can look up Golf WX Radio. And yeah, that's all I've got. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk next week.